Lieutenant Jake Morrison sat in front of his computer screens at Space Station Alpha 7. The screens showed numbers and patterns that danced across like green rain. For 3 years, humans had been friends with the Galactic Council. This was a group of 12 different alien races who controlled trade and peace talks in space. The station was quiet tonight. Jake liked the night shift. It was peaceful, and the stars outside the window looked like diamonds on black cloth. His job was simple: watch the screens and listen for messages from space. "Coffee delivery," said a familiar voice behind him. Jake turned to see Commander Lisa Bennett walking into the control room. She carried 2 cups of steaming coffee. Lisa was his boss, but she was also a friend. Her short brown hair was tied back, and she wore the standard blue uniform of Earth's Deep Space Monitoring Service. "Thanks, Commander," Jake said, taking the cup. "Quiet night so far." Lisa pulled up a chair next to him. "That's how I like it. Any interesting chatter from our alien friends?" Jake was about to say no when something caught his eye. A new signal appeared on his screen. It was different from the usual messages they picked up. "Actually," Jake said, leaning forward, "I'm getting something weird here." "Weird how?" Lisa asked, setting down her coffee. "Well, it's on Channel 7 Delta. The Council told us that channel was dead. They said nobody used it anymore." Lisa frowned. "Maybe it's just space junk, old satellite or something." Jake shook his head. "No, this is active communication. And look at this. It has military-grade encryption. Really strong stuff." His fingers moved quickly over the keyboard. Lines of code filled one screen while another showed the signal strength. The message was coming from deep space, from the direction of the Council's main territory. "Can you decode it?" Lisa asked. Her voice was tense now. "Our quantum computers can crack it, but it'll take a few minutes. This encryption is serious business. It's mixing military codes with diplomatic protocols. I've never seen anything like it." They waited. Jake watched the decoding program work through the encryption. The percentage bar slowly filled up: 60%, 70, 80. Finally, with a soft beep, text began to appear on the screen. Jake felt his stomach drop. "Commander, you need to see this." The message was in the common trade language that all Council members used. Jake had studied it for years, and he knew exactly what it said. "Emergency, Conclcession, classification, maximum security, to WPIC, the human pyrobillium, location, Xerion Prime, DAT, 3 standard days from now, 18 DNC, mandatory for all MBR species. Special note: no human representatives permitted. AG India, DISTUSSION of Tehran 3T levels, and POSIBIL, containment procedures. Lisa read the message twice. Then she stood up quickly, nearly knocking over her coffee. "Jake, copy everything. Every bit of data. I need to call Admiral Johnson right now." "Commander, what does this mean?" "The human problem. Terran threat levels." Jake's voice shook slightly. Lisa was already reaching for the secure communication device. "It means our so-called allies are having secret meetings about us, and they don't want us to know." Jake's hands flew over the keyboard, saving and copying all the data. More messages were coming through now. He caught glimpses of phrases that made his blood run cold. Rapid human expansion, military capabilities growing too fast, historical patterns of aggressive species, and worst of all, permanent solutions to ensure galactic stability. "Commander," Jake said quietly, "I think they're discussing whether to attack us." Lisa paused with the communicator in her hand. Her face was pale but determined. "Then it's a good thing we found out. Keep monitoring that channel. Jake, record everything. If the Council is planning something against humanity, We need to know exactly what we're facing. As Lisa began her urgent call to Earth Command, Jake stared at the messages scrolling across his screen. 3 years of peace and cooperation. And now this. The aliens they had trusted were meeting in secret to discuss humanity like they were a disease to be cured. Jake took a deep breath and continued his work. Whatever happened next, humanity would not be caught by surprise. 24 hours later, Admiral Frank Johnson stood at the front of a large meeting room. Earth's most important military and science leaders sat around a long metal table. The lights were dim, and holographic screens floated in the air showing the messages Jake had found. "Thank you all for coming on such short notice," Admiral Johnson began. He was a tall man with gray hair and tired eyes. He had been in space battles before, but this felt different. This felt like betrayal. "What you're about to see may change everything we know about our place in the galaxy," he continued. Johnson touched a button, and the first message appeared in giant letters floating above the table. Everyone read it in silence. Some faces turned pale. Others turned red with anger. Dr. Amy Torres was the first to speak. She was Earth's top alien expert, a woman who had spent 10 years studying alien cultures. "Admiral, are we sure these messages are real? Could this be some kind of test?" "We've verified them 3 times," Johnson replied. "The encryption codes match official council protocols. These are genuine." Captain Robert Chen, who led Earth's Special Forces, leaned forward. He was known for staying calm in any situation, but even he looked worried. "What else did we intercept?" Johnson activated more screens. "Over the past day, we've decoded 12 more messages. They paint a clear picture. The Council sees humanity as a growing threat." The screens showed message after message. Each one was worse than the last. The Vortanian species called humans dangerously innovative. The Altarians worried about human military expansion. The Zephyrians mentioned historical patterns of warrior species that must be controlled. "They're afraid of us," said General Patricia Williams. She commanded Earth's space fleet. "But why? We've done nothing but help them." Johnson brought up a new screen. "According to these messages, we're advancing too fast. In 50 years, we've gone from barely reaching our moon to having quantum drives. They say no species has ever developed this quickly without becoming conquerors." Dr. Eric Patel, head of Earth's Technology Division, shook his head. "That's not fair. We shared our medical breakthroughs with them. We helped stop the Andromedan plague. We've been good allies." "Fear isn't always logical," Johnson replied. "Look at this message from the Vortanian ambassador." A new text appeared. "The humans remind us of the Xerathi Empire. They too were innovative and friendly at first. They too advanced quickly. And they destroyed 3 star systems before the Council stopped them. We cannot let history repeat itself." The room fell silent. Everyone knew the story of the Xerathi. It was a cautionary tale told across the galaxy. A warrior race that had nearly destroyed the Council 500 years ago. Captain Chen spoke quietly. "Are they planning to attack us?" Johnson's face darkened. "Some are suggesting it. The Vortanians want to limit our technology. The Scalrians propose removing us from the Council. And 3 species." He paused, looking at each face around the table. 3 species are discussing what they call a permanent solution to ensure galactic stability. Dr. Torres gasped. "They're talking about genocide." "We don't know for certain," Johnson admitted. "But they're having this meeting in 3 days on Xerion Prime. Whatever they decide, there will determine humanity's future." General Williams stood up. "Then we need to prepare our defenses. Call back all ships. Activate the planetary shields. If they want a war." "Wait," Johnson raised his hand. "Starting a war might be exactly what they expect from a dangerous warrior race. We need to be smarter than that." "What do you suggest?" Chen asked. Johnson smiled for the first time since the meeting began. "They're having a secret meeting about us. What if we showed up?" The room erupted in conversation. Some thought it was crazy. Others thought it was brilliant. After several minutes, Johnson called for quiet. "Listen," he said, "we could prepare for war and prove their fears right, or we could do something they won't expect. We could crash their party and demand to speak for ourselves." Dr. Torres nodded slowly. "Show them we prefer talk to violence." "Exactly," Johnson agreed. "But we need to be smart about it. Captain Chen, I want you to put together a small team. We need our best people, someone who can fight if needed, but also someone who can talk. This is the most important mission in human history." Chen nodded. "I'll need our best tech expert, and translator too. If we're going to infiltrate their meeting, we need to be prepared for anything." Johnson looked around the room one more time. "The Council thinks humans are dangerous because we adapt and innovate too quickly. Let's show them that our greatest innovation isn't our technology. It's our ability to choose peace when others expect war." 2 days before the secret meeting, Captain Robert Chen stood in a secure underground bunker. The walls were thick steel, and guards watched every door. This was Earth's most secret military planning room. 3 people sat at a small table waiting for him. Chen had chosen each one carefully. "Thank you for coming," Chen began. "What I'm about to tell you stays in this room. The mission we're planning is the most important in human history." Dr. Maria Gonzalez spoke first. She was Earth's best alien language expert. Her dark hair was pulled back, and her brown eyes were sharp with intelligence. "Captain, the message said this was about first contact protocols." "That's not true, is it?" "No," Chen admitted. "It's much bigger than that." He activated a holographic display. The secret council messages appeared in the air. The team read them in silence. Joe Murphy, the young tech specialist, was the first to react. His red hairs seemed to stand up even more than usual. "They're planning to attack Earth?" Joe asked. He was only 25, but could hack any computer system in known space. "Maybe," Chen said. "Or maybe they'll just cut us off from all technology. Either way, they're deciding our fate without us." The 4th team member, Major Sarah Kim, studied the messages carefully. She was Chen's second in command, an expert in alien military tactics. "The meeting is on Xerion Prime. That's the most secure planet in Council space. How do we get in?" Chen smiled. "That's why I need all of you. Dr. Ellen Foster has been working on something in the science division." "Ellen." A door opened, and Dr. Foster walked in. She carried a metal briefcase and looked excited despite the serious situation. "We've made a breakthrough," Foster announced. She opened the briefcase to reveal a small silver device about the size of a baseball. "This is a quantum infiltration pod." Joe leaned forward, fascinated. "How does it work?" "The Council uses quantum entanglement for their secure communications," Foster explained. "We've figured out how to use the same principle for matter transport. Instead of sending just messages, we can send people." Maria frowned. "You mean teleportation? That's impossible." "Not impossible," Foster corrected. "Just very difficult. The pod creates a quantum tunnel that connects 2 points in space. We can piggyback on their own communication network." Chen took over. "Here's the plan. The Council meeting is tomorrow night. We'll use the pod to transport directly into the Xerion Prime facility. We observe, we record, and at the right moment, we reveal ourselves." Sarah Kim shook her head. "Captain, this is crazy. We'll be outnumbered 1,000 to 1. If they decide to attack." "We're not going there to fight," Chen interrupted. "We're going there to talk, to show them that humans choose diplomacy over violence." "But we should be prepared for anything," Joe added. "Agreed," Chen nodded. "We'll have defensive equipment only. Personal shields, emergency teleport beacons, but no weapons. We need to show them we come in peace." Maria raised her hand. "What if they don't want to listen? What if they've already decided to destroy us?" Chen was quiet for a moment. Then he spoke softly. "Then at least we'll have tried. We'll have shown them that humans aren't the monsters they fear. Maybe that will be enough to change some minds." Dr. Foster connected the pod to a computer. I need to calibrate this for each of you. We only get one shot at this. If the transport fails, it won't fail, Chen said firmly. Joe, can you hack their security systems once we're inside? Joe grinned. Give me 30 seconds with any council computer, and I'll own their entire network. Maria, we'll need you to translate in real time. Some species don't use the common language in private. I'm ready, Maria confirmed. I speak 14 alien languages fluently. Sarah, you're our security expert. Watch for threats, but remember, we don't start any fights. Sarah nodded. Understood, sir. Chen looked at his team. 3 humans who might save Earth just by showing up to a meeting where they weren't invited. It was risky. It was probably crazy. But it was also very human. To face fear with courage. To answer threats with words instead of weapons. Get some rest tonight, Chen ordered. Tomorrow, we crash the most important party in the galaxy, and we're going to do it with a smile. As the team left to prepare, Chen stayed behind. He looked at the quantum pod and thought about all the ways this could go wrong. But he also thought about all the ways it could go right. Sometimes the bravest thing wasn't to fight. It was to walk into a room full of enemies and say hello. Tomorrow, humanity would do exactly that. The quantum pod flashed once, and suddenly the team stood in a dark maintenance room on Xerion Prime. The transport had worked perfectly, but Chen felt his stomach turn. Quantum travel wasn't pleasant. Everyone okay? Chen whispered. I think I left my lunch back on Earth, Joe muttered, looking green. Focus, Sarah Kim ordered. She checked her scanner. We're in maintenance section B7. The council chamber is 3 levels up, 500 meters north. The team wore dark gray suits that changed color to match their surroundings. They carried no weapons, just recording devices and emergency shields. Chen felt naked without his gun, but that was the point. They came to talk, not fight. Maria adjusted her universal translator earpiece. I'm picking up multiple languages. The delegates are already gathering. They moved through the narrow maintenance tunnels. The Xerion architecture was strange. Curved walls that seemed to breathe. Floors that hummed with energy. Everything was built for beings much larger than humans. Security scan coming up, Joe warned. He pulled out a small device. Give me 10 seconds. His fingers flew over the device. The security beam passed over them harmlessly. Joe grinned. Their systems are good, but not great. I'm in their network now. They reached a service ladder. Chen went first, climbing carefully. The rungs were spaced for larger beings, making each step a stretch. Above them, voices echoed through the walls. Alien languages mixing together. The chamber is through that vent, Sarah pointed. Joe, can you disable the holographic screen? Already done. We'll be invisible to anyone in the main chamber. They crawled through the vent until they reached an observation gallery. It was a small space meant for maintenance workers, with a clear view of the council chamber below. The sight took their breath away. The chamber was a perfect sphere, maybe 200 meters across. 12 platforms floated in a circle, each holding a different alien species. Some Chen recognized, others were new. In the center, a larger platform held the council Primarch, a being so old that no one knew its original species. Recording everything, Joe whispered. Video, audio, energy signatures. We've got it all. The Altarian delegate spoke first. Ambassador Vector was a crystal being that pulsed with inner light. His voice sounded like wind chimes. Brothers and sisters of the council, we gather to discuss a grave matter, the human question. Maria translated quickly as different species responded. The Vortanian delegate, a mass of writhing tentacles, was the most aggressive. The humans advanced too quickly. They mastered technologies in years that took us centuries. This is not natural. Perhaps it is evolution, suggested the Cetarian, a being of pure energy in a metal shell. Perhaps humanity represents the next step, or the last step before destruction. The Vortanian countered. Remember the Xerethi. Remember the Dolphin. Every warrior species follows the same path: innovation, expansion, conquest, destruction. Chen watched as more delegates spoke. Some defended humanity. The ethereal collective mentioned human medical advances. The Zephyrians praised human art and culture. But fear dominated the discussion. The Scalrian delegate, looking like a giant praying mantis made of metal, presented data. Human military ships have increased by 300% in 5 years. Their weapons technology advances daily. They've developed planetary shields that could withstand our strongest attacks. For defense, the Cetarian argued, they've never attacked a council world. Not yet, the Vortanian said, but we've seen this pattern before. First they defend, then they expand, then they conquer. We must act before it's too late. The council primarch, who had been silent, finally spoke. Its voice was ancient, like stones grinding together. What do you propose, Vortanian? Complete technological restriction. Remove their quantum drives. Limit their expansion to their home system. If they refuse, the tentacles writhe meaningfully. You mean war, the Cetarian stated. I mean survival, the Vortanian replied. Better to cage the beast before it grows teeth. Chen felt anger rise in his chest. They spoke about humanity like animals to be controlled. He looked at his team. Maria was pale with concentration, translating every word. Joe recorded everything. Sarah watched the exits, planning escape routes. More delegates spoke. The debate grew heated. Some called for patience and observation. Others demanded immediate action. The word extinction was mentioned more than once. Finally, the Primarch called for order. We will vote. All in favor of imposing technological sanctions on the human race. Chen knew this was the moment. He stood up, his team beside him. It was time to crash this party. Chen stepped out from behind a holographic screen. His team followed, walking onto the observation platform in full view of the council. The chamber fell silent instantly. Every alien eye, sensor, and energy field turned toward the 4 humans. I believe humanity should have a voice in this decision, Chen said calmly. His voice carried through the chamber's perfect acoustics. Chaos erupted. Alarm sounds blared. Security forces materialized on floating platforms, weapons pointed at the human intruders. The Vortanian delegates' tentacles whipped frantically. How dare you violate the sanctity of this chamber? The Vortanian shrieked. Guards, remove these intruders. Chen raised his hand slowly, showing empty palms. We came here without weapons. We came to talk, not fight. Isn't that what this council stands for? The security forces moved closer. Energy weapons hummed with power. Serva tensed beside Chen, ready to activate their emergency shields. But the ancient voice of the Primarch cut through the noise. Hold. The single word stopped everyone. The Primarch's form shifted, ancient eyes focusing on the humans. Explain yourselves. Dr. Maria Gonzalez stepped forward. Her voice was steady despite facing beings that could destroy them with a thought. Honored delegates, we intercepted your communications. Rather than respond with the aggression you fear, we chose transparency. We're here to address your concerns directly. Ambassador Vector's crystalline form pulsed angrily. This only proves our point. You violated our most secure facility, infiltrated our most sacred chamber. Using your own technology. Joe Murphy interrupted. The young tech specialist held up his device. We reverse-engineered your quantum communications in 3 weeks, not to attack you, but to talk to you. The Primarch tilted its ancient head. Continue. Chen activated a small holographic projector. Images filled the air. Humans and aliens working together. Joint research stations. Medical missions to plague worlds. Human ships defending council colonies. You speak of human aggression, Chen said. Yet in our entire history with the council, we've never initiated conflict. We've defended ourselves and our allies. During the Andromedan invasion, Human ships led the defense that saved 3 Council worlds. But your military growth, the Vortanian began, is proportional to the threats we faced, Chen countered. Threats the Council acknowledged existed. We've shared every major technological advancement with Council members. Our medical breakthroughs cured the Zilarian plague. Our agricultural techniques feed 12 worlds. We've asked for nothing in return except fair treatment. The Scalrian delegate clicked its mandibles. Your rate of advancement alarms us. No species has progressed so quickly without becoming conquerors. Maria stepped forward again. May I show you something else? The Primarch nodded. More images appeared. Human schools teaching alien languages, Earth cities welcoming alien visitors, human artists learning from alien masters, scientists sharing discoveries freely. This is who we are, Maria said. Yes, we're innovative. Yes, we advance quickly. But we do so to explore, to understand, to help. Look at your own histories. The Altarians went from stone tools to spaceflight in 800 years. The Cetarians achieved quantum mastery in 600. We've done it in 300. Different speeds, same journey. The Cetarian delegate pulsed thoughtfully. You make a valid point, but the Exarathi also claimed peaceful intentions. The Exarathi conquered 40 worlds before joining the Council. Chen replied. How many has humanity conquered? 0. We've colonized empty worlds, with Council permission. We've never taken inhabited territory. The chamber fell quiet. Delegates exchanged glances, energy fields flickered with uncertainty. The Vortanian was not convinced. You've still violated Council law by entering this chamber. As did you, Chen said firmly, by holding secret meetings about a member species. Your own charter, Article 7, Section 3. No member species shall be subject to judgment without representation. You broke your own highest law. This caused a stir. Several delegates consulted their datapads, confirming Chen's words. The Primarch's ancient form seemed to smile, though it was hard to tell. You humans continue to surprise us. Armed security surrounds you, yet you quote our laws instead of fighting. You discover our deception and respond with words, not weapons. Because that's who we are, Chen said. Yes, we can fight. Yes, we advance quickly. But our greatest strength isn't our technology or our weapons. It's our choice to use words when others expect violence. The security forces still hovered nearby, but their weapons had lowered slightly. The chamber was thinking, reconsidering, seeing humans in a new light. The ethereal collective spoke next. Their voice was like a whisper from 1,000 minds. The humans raise valid points. We have judged them in secret, which violates our principles. The Vortanian delegates' tentacles writhed in frustration. Principles. They speak of principles while demonstrating exactly why we should fear them. They decoded our most secure communications. They penetrated our defenses. They stand here uninvited. Joe Murphy stepped forward. We didn't come here to show off our technology. We came to show our intentions. Yes, we cracked your codes. Yes, we got past your security. But look what we did with that ability. He held up his recording device. We could have used this technology for spying, for military advantage. Instead, we used it to join a conversation about our own future. Doesn't that show you who we really are? The Zephyrian ambassador, a being of flowing energy and light, spoke softly. The young human makes a point. They discovered our plans and chose dialogue over preparation for war. But they still pose a threat. The Scalrian insisted. Their advancement rate is unprecedented. In 50 Earth years, they've achieved what took most of us millennia. Maria responded to this, and we shared every advancement. When we developed better medical scanners, we gave the technology to all Council worlds. When we improved quantum drives, we published the specifications. We hide nothing. Unlike the Council, Chen added, you hid this meeting. You hid your fears. You hid your plans for our species. The Primarch leaned forward. You speak of fear, human. Do you understand why we fear you? Chen nodded. I think I do. We remind you of your failures. The Exorethi, the Dolven, other warrior races that turned against you. You see patterns that scare you. And do you deny these patterns exist? The Primarch asked. No, Chen admitted. But patterns aren't destiny. Every species has a choice. The Exorethi chose conquest. The Dolven chose isolation. Humanity chooses cooperation. The Vortanian laughed bitterly. Easy words. The Exorethi also spoke of cooperation before they burned 3 systems. Sarah Kim finally spoke. She had been silent until now, watching everything. You want to know the difference between humans and the Exorethi. All eyes turned to her. The Exorethi conquered 40 worlds before joining the Council, Sarah continued. They had a military culture for thousands of years. They saw other species as inferior. Humans, we argue about everything. We have hundreds of cultures, thousands of beliefs. We can barely agree on pizza toppings. You think we could unite for galactic conquest? This caused unexpected laughter from several delegates. Even the Primarch seemed amused. Chen seized the moment. My colleague is right. Humans are explorers and builders, not conquerors. Yes, we build weapons, because the galaxy is dangerous. Yes, we advance quickly, because we're curious. But look at our choices. Look at our actions. He gestured to his team. We stand before you unarmed. We could have brought weapons. We could have taken hostages. We could have tried to force you to listen. Instead, we chose to trust that words would be enough. The Cetarian delegate pulsed with new patterns. They demonstrate remarkable restraint. Perhaps we have misjudged. Or perhaps this is an elaborate deception, the Vortanian argued, but with less conviction than before. The Primarch raised one appendage for silence. I propose something unprecedented. These humans have shown courage and wisdom by coming here. Let us hear their full response to our concerns. Let them present their case properly. Murmurs ran through the chamber. This was highly irregular. But they're not scheduled speakers, the Scalrian protested. Neither were they scheduled to be discussed without representation. The Primarch replied, Yet here we are. I call for a formal hearing. Let the humans speak for humanity. Chen felt hope rise in his chest. They had crashed the meeting, confronted their accusers, and now they would get a real chance to defend humanity's future. The vote was quick. 8 species voted to hear the humans. 3 voted against. 1 abstained. The Primarch's ancient voice filled the chamber. The Council recognizes Earth's representatives. You may present humanity's case. Chen looked at his team. They had done it. They had turned a secret trial into an open dialogue. Now came the hard part, convincing the galaxy that humanity deserved trust, not fear. Chen took a deep breath and stepped to the center of the chamber. The platform beneath him adjusted to human height. He felt the weight of billions of human lives on his shoulders. Members of the Council, he began, you fear humanity because we advance quickly. But consider this. Why do we advance so fast? He activated his holographic projector again. This time, it showed images of Earth's history, wars, disasters, triumphs, and failures. For thousands of years, humans fought each other. We made the same mistakes over and over. We nearly destroyed ourselves multiple times, but each disaster taught us something. Each war showed us the price of conflict. Maria joined him, adding her voice. When we finally reached the stars and met other species, we made a choice. We could repeat our bloody history, or we could become something better. We chose better. The images change, showing the first contact between humans and the Altarians 30 years ago. The Altarians came to Earth when we were still recovering from our last global war. Chen continued. They could have conquered us easily. Instead, they offered friendship. That act of trust changed humanity forever. Ambassador Vector's crystalline form pulsed with remembered light. I was there. The humans were suspicious at first, but eager to learn. Because we knew what we had almost lost, Chen said. Our planet was scared by atomic weapons. Our people were tired of fighting. When the galaxy offered us peace, we grabbed it with both hands. Joe Murphy stepped forward with his datapad. Let me show you something interesting. Every species the Council fears, the Exarathi, the Dolven, the Scaran, they all had one thing in common. They were unified cultures, one government, one belief system, one way of thinking. He projected data showing cultural analyses. Humans are different. We have hundreds of nations, thousands of cultures, millions of different views. We advance quickly because we combine ideas from everywhere. Our strength comes from our diversity, not from unity. And that diversity makes conquest impossible, Sarah added. How can humanity conquer the galaxy when we can't even agree on what to have for lunch? Our scientists argue about everything. Our leaders debate constantly. We question every decision. The Cetarian delegate pulsed thoughtfully. You suggest your chaos is your strength. Not chaos, Chen corrected. Creative disagreement. When the Council gave us quantum theory, our scientists didn't just accept it. They argued about it, tested it, combined it with our own ideas. That's why we advanced so quickly. The chamber fell silent as delegates considered this new perspective. Maria activated another set of images. Look at what humanity has done with our advancements. Medical breakthroughs that saved the Zolarian people. Agricultural techniques that feed desert worlds. Defense systems that protected Council colonies. But also weapons, the Vortanian interrupted. Powerful weapons. Yes, Chen agreed. Because we learned from our history that peace without strength is fragile. But look how we use those weapons, only for defense, never for conquest. The Primarch spoke again. You claim humanity is different from other warrior species. How can we be certain? Chen smiled slightly. Because we're having this conversation. When you held secret meetings about us, we could have prepared for war. We could have withdrawn from the Council, built our defenses, prepared for the conflict you expected. He gestured to his small team. Instead, 4 humans with no weapons came to talk. We discovered your greatest secret, that you planned our potential destruction, and we responded with words, not warships. The Scalrian delegate clicked thoughtfully. This is unprecedented behavior for a warrior species. Because we're not a warrior species, Maria said firmly. We're a survivor species. We've survived ice ages, plagues, nuclear war, and our own stupidity. We've learned that the best way to survive is to make friends, not enemies. Joe added, our entire history shows the same pattern. We fight when threatened, but we prefer to build. Give us a challenge, and we'll innovate. Give us a problem, and we'll solve it. Give us fear, and we'll answer with hope. The ethereal collective spoke softly. They transformed threats into opportunities. Perhaps this is why they advanced so quickly. Chen nodded. We saw the stars not as territory to conquer, but as mysteries to explore. We see other species not as subjects to rule, but as teachers to learn from. That's the truth about humanity. The Council chamber buzzed with discussion. Minds were changing. Fear was giving way to understanding. The debate continued for 3 more hours. Each delegate asked questions, and the human team answered them all. Slowly, minds began to change. Fear turned to curiosity. Suspicion became respect. Finally, the Primarch called for order. The ancient being's form seemed to glow with inner light as it spoke. We have witnessed something unprecedented today, the Primarch said. A species discovered our deception and responded not with anger or violence, but with a desire for dialogue. The humans have shown wisdom beyond their years. The Vortanian delegate stirred. They still violated our security. They still chose peace when they could have chosen war. The Primarch interrupted gently. Consider what they knew. They discovered we were planning their possible destruction. How did they respond? with 4 unarmed representatives who came to talk. Ambassador Vector's crystalline form pulsed in agreement. Their actions today demonstrate restraint we did not credit them with. Perhaps we have let our fears blind us to reality. The Scalrian delegate clicked its mandibles thoughtfully. The human Murphy showed us their technical capabilities. They could have used that knowledge for military advantage. Instead, they used it to join this conversation. I motioned to void the previous vote, the Cetarian announced, and to open formal discussions with human representatives present. The Vortanian's tentacles writhed in frustration. You would ignore the potential threat. No, the Cetarian replied. I would judge them by their actions, not our fears. The vote was called. One by one, the delegates cast their decisions. The tally appeared in glowing symbols above the chamber. 8 votes to void the sanctions and open dialogue. 3 votes to maintain restrictions. 1 abstention, the Vortanian, who could not bring themselves to vote either way. The motion passed. As the formal session concluded, something unexpected happened. The Primarch descended from its platform and approached Captain Chen directly. The ancient being towered over the human, but its presence felt gentle, almost parental. Your species continues to surprise us, Captain Chen, the Primarch said. This council was formed to prevent the kind of misunderstandings that lead to conflict. Today, you have reminded us of our own principles. Chen smiled, relief flooding through him. We just want to be treated as equals, not as threats. Judge us by our actions, not your fears. Wisdom from such a young species, the Primarch mused. Perhaps that is why you advance so quickly. You learn from mistakes, both your own and those of others. Over the following days, formal negotiations began. The secret meetings ended, replaced by open dialogue. Humanity gained a permanent seat on the Security Council with full voting rights. 3 months later, Dr. Maria Gonzalez submitted her final report on the Syrian Prime incident. She stood before the Earth Council, the same room where this had all began. The mission succeeded beyond our wildest hopes, she reported. Not only did we prevent potential sanctions, but we've transformed humanity's relationship with the Council. We're no longer seen as potential conquerors, but as innovative partners. Admiral Johnson leaned forward. What changed their minds? Maria smiled. We did something no warrior species had ever done. We discovered a plot against us and responded with conversation instead of conquest. We showed them that humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our rapid advancement. Then what is it? Johnson asked. Our choice, Chen answered from beside Maria. Our stubborn insistence on trying diplomacy first. Our willingness to face fear with open hands instead of closed fists. Joe Murphy added, they expected us to act like every other warrior species in history. Instead, we acted like humans, chaotic, creative, and surprisingly peaceful when given the chance. Sarah Kim concluded, sometimes the best way to win a war is to refuse to fight it. In the years that followed, humanity's approach became the model for resolving council disputes. When tensions arose, when fears emerged, the question was always asked, what would the humans do? The answer was always the same. They would talk first, fight only if necessary, and always choose hope over fear. The age of true galactic unity had begun. It started not with a battle or a treaty, but with 4 humans walking uninvited into a secret meeting and saying, we need to talk. In the vast library of the Galactic Council, a new proverb was added to the ancient texts. When humans discover your secrets, prepare not for war, but for conversation. For they are the species that wages peace with the same innovation they bring to all things. And that perhaps was humanity's greatest victory of all.